Hello, I'm Jonasz Rewiński and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. On the night of the 22nd of December, Russian forces launched 86 drones at Ukraine. Most were intercepted, but authorities confirmed 26 strikes across several locations. In Odessa, 2 Russian attacks overnight damaged a critical infrastructure facility. As a result, part of one district was temporarily left without electricity, and 1 person was wounded, according to local officials. In the Zhytomyr region, a freight train incident forced the emergency stop of a passenger train, causing the locomotive to derail. There were no serious injuries among the passengers. Preliminary reports suggest the freight train may have been hit by a detonation, likely from a Shahed-type drone. Russia also came under drone attack overnight in Krasnodar Krai. Regional authorities reported damage to 2 piers, plus 2 vessels and a pipeline, following strikes on the night of the 22nd of December. Crew members were evacuated safely with no injuries reported. Fires broke out at 1 terminal and blazes on the piers covered between 1,000 and 1,500 square meters. The attacks targeted the settlement of Volna, near the port of Taman, a major maritime hub handling oil products, liquefied hydrocarbons, ammonia and other cargo. The port terminals have a combined capacity of over 90 million tons of cargo per year. Turning to the front line now, on the night of the 20th and 21st of December, a fire broke out at a Russian military airfield near Lipetsk. According to Ukraine's military intelligence, 2 Russian fighter jets, a Su-30 and a Su-27, were destroyed in the operation. Both aircraft, with an estimated combined value of up to $100 million, were rendered inoperable. Meanwhile, analysts report that Russian forces have launched a new cognitive warfare campaign using limited cross-border attacks in Ukraine's Sumy and Kharkiv regions. The Institute for the Study of War examined Russian activity near Khrabovsky in Sumy and Sotnitskie Kozache in Kharkiv, concluding that the Kremlin is likely attempting to portray small, localized incursions into border villages as part of a broader offensive. According to the ISW, Russia has not created the conditions for a major new offensive across Ukraine's northern border and shows no evidence of preparing or being capable of launching a large-scale operation there. Much of the border zone in Sumy and Kharkiv has remained relatively quiet since late summer 2025. The Institute for the Study of War stresses that while small tactical attacks and intensified Russian information efforts may continue along the northern front, they are intended to create an information effect, not to seize territory as part of a broader ground offensive. Today, Liman is a city literally entangled in war. The ruins of high-rise buildings, the trees, the streets and the stairwells are covered with a web of fiber-optic cables, traces of hundreds of FPV drones. This is a clear sign of a changing era. These silent devices fly low, are not afraid of electronic warfare, and leave behind not only craters, but also man-made scars of a sort. Each thread represents someone's flight, someone's attempt to strike, someone's failed attack. Liman has turned into a testing ground for drone warfare, where technology has become as much a weapon as artillery, and is just as ruthlessly changing the face of the city. The Security Service of Ukraine has struck a tanker belonging to Russia's Shadow Fleet in neutral waters in the Mediterranean Sea for the very first time. Following a multi-stage special operation, the Alpha unit used drones against the Kendil vessel, which Russia had been using for the purposes of sanctions dodging. At the time of the strike, the tanker was sailing without cargo. This is crucial, you see. The argument of the Ukrainians is that the operation did not pose a threat to the region's environment, or to civilian shipping for that matter. The strike was aimed solely at disabling the vessel as part of the shadow infrastructure serving the Russian military and economic needs of the aggressor state. According to available information, Kendil has suffered critical damage and can no longer be used for its intended purpose. Okay, so this is kind of like the famous scene from The Matrix. Russia's shadow fleet being Agent Smith zipping around and evading sanctions until Ukraine comes along and says, "Dodge this." And now, moving on to our next story. In the grey zone on the outskirts of Pokrovsk, Russian troops are busy doing what they have been doing for years, namely looting. While the artillery is silent, the occupiers rummage through abandoned houses, dragging away household appliances, belongings, and anything else they can carry. The only thing they truly fear is Ukrainian drones. As soon as a drone appears in the sky, the trophy hunters instantly turn into panickers. They drop their loot, stumble, fall over, and run away in all directions. Aerial footage captures this scene without embellishment. Fear works faster than any order does. The Pokrovsk direction remains an area of constant UAV control, where every enemy movement is monitored, and even looting ends the same way here, with flight, chaos, and broken plans.
Мы все в Покровске. На полные рюкзаки. Теперь... Вали, вали, вали! Давай до укрытия, быстрее надо. Давайте туда, во дворы. Во дворы. Тихо, не шевелитесь. Камень, камень. Камень. Еще. Жились. Сейчас пролетит. Координаты передаются. Да, да, да. Все, идем, идем мимо нас. Давай пошли, туда. Пошли, скорее. Проволока. А, пи***, запотела, тут снимаю. А, нет. То я нажал пухнуть что-то. Ванна. Все, мимо нас. Валя, жди, дома буду подать.
Продолжаем движение без подвала.
Отдохнем и продолжаем.
Now, it would be extremely unfair to say real war is like a video game. But if the Russians thought this actually was the case, and it was a looter-shooter, then Ukraine was quick to disabuse them of that notion. Quick genre switch and boom, you're in an extraction shooter now. And if you fail, you don't get to come back for the loot in another playthrough. And with this, we conclude this edition of Military Mind. Stay with us on TVP World for more latest news and updates.